Hi everybody, another episode of Beer, Pizza and a Movie. We have 30 minutes before we need to go and see a movie.
Hello everybody.
So that was Ross.
Hi.
I'm Harry. And brand new thing, we have a returning guest. Technically brand new. Because
Technically brand new. It's the first time a guest has come back.
Hi John.
Hi guys, good to be back. I've been waiting a long time for this.
Excellent.
So this is actually the first episode where the three of us are all... I was going to say sober. I'm not sober. All not hungover.
All conscious.
All
for
conscious.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who listen to Batman and Robin,
a classic
I
episode.
really enjoyed that. Yeah, the classic 90s cartoon that it is. What was the question from that episode? Best misunderstood comedy
Was it a
ever?
misunderstood comedy classic or a train wreck? And
No,
I think
that's right.
The conclusion we came to was that it was both.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. It's both.
It was pretty good. So, yeah.
How would you know? You didn't watch it. You were asleep.
I shut up.
Moving on. Anyway, Magnificent Seven.
So, yeah, our film this week is Magnificent Seven. I say this week, it's more like this month. We haven't put an episode out for a good while.
And the last one was Magnificent Seven.
The last one was Magnificent Seven, and the one before that was maybe 2 or 3 months ago, who knows.
We've been a little bit iffy on our original weekly schedule, but that's fine.
We're going to be right back on track now because nothing's going to happen and there's going to be no delays whatsoever.
That's true. Because Harry's not going to
Getting some evil eyes from John
leave
there.
to go to Europe for a
Being
month
told
in a
off.
few weeks' time.
Swallowing my resentments. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, I'm going travelling, so I'm going away for like a month and a half. So,
So probably you'll get about as many episodes as you usually would have got in the usual amount of time.
maybe we'll do a Skype episode, who knows? Probably
Yeah.
not.
Or I'll just do episodes with guests, and then we'll realise it was better and sack Harry.
How dare you?
Wait, hang on. Harry owns all the microphones,
Ah.
so I can't do it.
All
Anyway.
right, well, let's get on topic. So, Magnificent Seven.
Magnificent
John,
Seven.
first, what are you expecting of this film?
Well, I've
Firstly, actually, sorry, have you seen the 1960s Magnificent Seven?
yes, I watched it this week actually.
Oh, lovely.
Guys, I take this very seriously.
Good, good.
Did you watch
should.
Akira Kurosawa's Magnificent Seven?
I didn't watch
Seven Samurai,
I didn't watch Seven Samurai, I'm afraid. No.
Yeah.
So I haven't completely committed to the film.
Don't
but
take it seriously enough, because I watched that.
No, I mean,
prep for last week.
I enjoyed the 1961. I was kind of surprised by how. I was kind of impressed by what a small human story it told.
Yeah, that's one of the things I liked about it as well.
There's relatively low stakes. It kind of set up what an archetype, which I guess has been copied many times since, with kind of, 7 characters with quite distinct, each with a distinct personality traits. And I actually really enjoyed it.
I'm going to bring up the 7 personality traits again in a moment, but yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that. But yeah, I think you're right. It sets up a really interesting archetype of mercenaries saving the day kind of thing. Get in some fighters to help you with your problem kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was a perfect film. There were certain things I would have... I felt like I was impressed with the fact that they had the balls to, spoiler alert, kill off like 4 out of 7 of them at the end.
Yep, I like that.
Yeah, which I'm not expecting from this film at all. And I'll be super impressed if they do that with this film, given films these days don't do that. They don't kill off them.
Yeah,
They
I
always have
think
an
that that's a fair assessment. I reckon all 7 will survive till the end of this because they won't kill any of these people.
I hope they kill Chris Pratt, because that will show some serious guts on the filmmaker's side.
Because he's a big picture. He's a big, big ticket item these days.
Yeah.
I imagine if they kill anyone, they'll kill 1 or 2 of the lower build, the less magnificent ones.
The less magnificent.
The more replaceable ones. I don't think Ethan Hawke, Denzel Washington, and Chris Pratt have much to worry about. But
Vinny D is probably going to survive to the end too.
Possibly, yeah. Although he's kind of he's not like a box office name. Like he's
That's true. He's known to us.
Yeah.
I guess, but not so much to the general movie.
He's probably recognizable enough that would have enough of an emotional kick if they kill him. That might be enough. But yeah. They're not going to kill 4.
They're not killing 4 off. No, that's pretty certain.
But what I did find interesting about the first one, or maybe slightly disappointing, was the way that they killed them all off. I thought it was cool that they did it, but I thought the direction was a little bit flat and it was lacking in tension. That should have been a real heart in mouth moment when they're all dying, but you never see who kills any of them.
Yeah,
it's all just like,
he's got a bullet now.
Yeah, I don't think the bad guy who was, I forget his name, but he's played by Eli Wallach. I don't think he even killed any of them. Like, he's set up as the big bad, and I don't think he shot any of the main characters. I don't think he kills the guy at the beginning, and apart from that, he doesn't really do anything.
That is something that later westerns really nail. If you think Fistful of Dollars, when Clint Eastwood meets oh God, I can't remember his name. Ramon Rojo is the character. I can't remember the actor who played him, but it's that wonderful "shoot for the heart, Ramon." right? He takes out like 6 guys, and then he challenges the guy to a quick draw competition, rifle versus pistol. And it's a wonderful character moment because we've learned about these 2 people, and it comes down to the 2 of them. You don't get that in Magnificent Seven. It's just anonymous bullets flying around, which is a little bit of a shame because that's something that later Westerns did so well with Clint Eastwood and Eli Waller again in Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Lee Van Cleef smashing it out.
So what do you expect from this new film then?
Well, to answer that question, I want to whinge about remakes some more.
Is this wait, stop. Ross Rant?
Not quite.
No, come on, yes or no?
No. It's not a Ross rant. It's just to say that...
So feel free, John, to interrupt me at any point and talk about whatever you want to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Point is, yes, I am still soured against remakes, but I said after Independence Day I won't watch another remake. But I've slightly softened to I will watch a remake if it seems like there's a reason for it. And in The Magnificent Seven, it looks like they've created more distinct character types. Mm-hmm. We had the 7 last time, and though they did have their own personalities, they didn't have they didn't have a major variation.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like maybe if this one can do anything, it can give them a bit more personality because each one had in the original, or this 1960 version, had one specific character trait, and kind of that was pretty much it.
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot of depth there.
Whereas in this new one, judging by the trailers at least, they are borderline cartoon characters. There's the hunter, there's the knife man, there's the gambler, there's
I would say
the Denzel Washington.
They're modern Western characters. If you look at the Hateful Eight, the Hateful Eight.
They were a bit cartoony as well.
They were, like they were all introduced as the insert term here.
That's true, actually. Yeah, the bounty hunter, the hangman.
And in fact, I think they were introduced like that in the film, not just the trailers.
Yeah,
it's a very Tarantino-esque
very
thing
Tarantino.
To do, though.
Yeah, so for me, that has given this movie a reason to exist. It might be good or it might be bad, but they've done something different. They've taken the story and done a thing with it, rather than just, hey, we're remaking this movie now.
What's the rating for this film? Like PG, 12, 15? Yeah.
I've not looked.
That's a good question, actually.
As a 18-plus-year-old, I don't
have
need
never
to look
checked
at these things anymore.
It's still very much a going concern for me. I'm often past the 12, so
I'm intrigued actually because not knowing that means you don't know whether to expect blood or death or sex or drugs or whatever. Well, drugs almost
because the
completely unlikely, but
1961 is quite tame because it's quite old and there was so there's not really a lot of blood. But I thought like there was some quite dark themes in there. Like there was the character who was it Robert Vaughn's character who has this kind of fear of death.
He was like the ultimate gunslinger, but had just completely lost it. He'd lost his nerve. Yeah, that was pretty adult, and there was like the younger one of the Magnificent Seven and his relationship with one of the young girls from the village.
Oh yeah, great film for women, the 1961. Really great nuanced roles for women in that film.
Yeah, there was the woman who's in love with the hero. Sort of. That was it. It was terrible. She was literally the only woman in the movie.
Well, she's not only the only woman in the movie. Like, she comes on in her first scene, she kind of attacks Chico, who's the young guy. And I kind of thought, okay, maybe we're going to get some kind of, woman who's thinks she's as good as the man, and she's going to be a sharpshooter, she's going to contribute. Oh, no.
And then we don't.
No, then she gets literally thrown over his shoulders, thrown over
a
horse.
God, yeah, that's right. She's like a bag of potatoes.
And then she just spends the rest of the film just like, please put your cock in me.
But we don't do it because it's tame.
Yeah,
so that doesn't happen.
But so I felt bad for that poor actress because that was a really crappy role.
Yeah, and possibly women in general for the whole of the 1960s.
So if this
70s,
film has
80s, and basically up until now.
Yeah, so if this film has a woman with any kind of agency whatsoever,
judging by the trailers, it does.
Yeah, I think Hayley Williams' character is supposed to have a bigger part than she
yeah,
have
that's
a
interesting.
Part,
that's another reason for a remake to exist, maybe to redress the balance there.
Is that the actress that looks like Jennifer Lawrence?
I think so, maybe a little bit.
Well, I've seen the trailers. There's only one woman in it.
The girl on the train.
No, you're thinking of Emily Blunt.
No, not Emily Blunt. There's an actress in The Girl on the Train who looks exactly like Jennifer Lawrence. There's a big thing about it going on that she's like her doppelganger. I will look it up.
I don't know. I'm not really familiar with Hayley Williams' work apart from this film. So,
but it looks like there might be a strong female character in here, which is good. I hope that there isn't the token strong female character.
Well, she's not one of the 7, so
Yeah. Now that would have been a good way of putting in a female character and changing things up. That would have been Ghostbustering it properly, in my opinion. Make the Magnificent Seven 4 blokes and 3 women would have been a really good way of demonstrating diversity.
I apologise. I was thinking of Hayley Bennett.
Oh, okay.
See? Same first name.
Yeah.
My mistake.
Don't know who that is either.
If I show you a photo of her, you'll see why I thought she may look like
Wait, didn't
Jennifer
I say
Lawrence.
Hayley Bennett?
Pardon?
Are you sure we didn't just say the same person?
I thought you said Hayley Williams.
I might have said the wrong name.
I think you
it
said
might be
Hayley
the same
Williams.
person. Yeah,
I
it
don't know
might
who
be
Hayley
Hayley
Williams
Bennett,
is either.
but it might
No,
be
me
Hayley
neither.
Bennett in this film. So
Probably Josh Brolin, to be
apologies.
honest.
This is awful.
Famous Hayley is whoever you are, and we
To
apologise.
go back to your previous question, this film now that we're going to see is rated 12A.
Okay.
The 1960 film was rated U.
Well, yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, most films went super tame back then.
Yeah.
But in that time, there were probably more deaths in that movie than your average movie.
And there's
So-
some blood in that film. The guy's hand bleeds a little bit. That's
Yeah.
PG at least.
There are the hilarious squibs. There's a lot of that.
Strong extra work as well.
Strong-
Yeah, I'm hoping for
very good
equally
extra
strong
work.
extra work in this film.
I didn't realise that Seven Samurai only came out 6 years before Magnificent Seven.
We talked about that last week. I gave you a timeline and everything, I think.
Well, I wasn't listening to you. You talk a lot.
That's true. Listeners, double check for us, because we're not going to. If I talked about that last week, tweet at us whether or not I did.
I can confirm.
Thanks. Oh, yeah, John's our listener. So,
Oh,
so there's nobody listening this week.
Oh, that reminds me of something else actually. So people may or may not know, I do a little bit of social media for Beer Pizza Movie. Last episode, not last week, you became a little bit obsessed, Ross, with the idea that Magnificent Seven in space would make an amazing movie.
Yeah.
So I put that out there on Twitter. Turns out that movie exists.
Oh, my
They
God.
made a Magnificent Seven in space. It's a B movie called, I forget now, but it exists. It's a real thing.
Tweet
Robert
that
Vaughn
back
was
at
in
me,
it.
at
Yeah.
Alex Rossi Circus, so I can find it.
Yeah, no, one of our followers tweeted it, and
Oh, my God, I will find it.
yeah,
Thank you, follower. Can we
the
maybe...
power of social media.
Yeah, let's... Harry, can you remember to put in the comments who that follower was so we can thank them by name?
I will
We'll look them up.
Yeah.
I will say yes,
And then
But-
forget.
but I mean
Well, thank
no.
you, that follower. I'm sorry we can't remember your name, but
I'll
thank
find
you.
it. Don't worry. You can talk
John's
among
going to find
yourselves.
it.
Hey,
So,
Ross, speaking of Alexander Rossi,
yeah?
you know how you asked me to make you a logo?
This is really pointless shop talk for the podcast, Harry. Have
Oh,
you
yeah,
made me a fresh logo?
Yes. I made you a logo.
We're doing some live brand capitalization here on the podcast.
I just wanted this to be recorded. So, for our listeners, Ross is a circus performer
Yep.
under the stage name of Alexander Rossi.
Yeah, for those of you who are confused why I was just talking about Alexander Rossi, that's also me.
Yes. Well, recently he asked me to design him a logo, and just give me a sec while I just pass my phone to him to
I'm so excited right now.
show him something.
Also, I've got to cover the dead time while one of them's looking something up and someone else is walking across the room.
So the logo that I made for you may have just been copied from Google
Oh,
Images.
I hate you so much.
It's just the Antiques Roadshow.
I hate
logo.
you so much.
He asked for a logo that was the letters A and R kind of merged together in some way, and I thought,
You
do it.
complete and utter scumbag.
And I did
Have
it.
you really made me a logo or not?
no, I will do.
Well, make
But-
me a logo, you horrible, horrible person. I really like that.
I suggested that we don't tell you, and then we do everything in our powers to get you a gig for David Dickinson or someone else who presents Antique Roadshow. So you could give him a business card with his own logo back to him.
You have no idea how much I want to see the argument of you and Fiona Bruce arguing about whose logo is whose. It's like, oh, well, I had this logo custom made. No, Ross.
No, you
This is
didn't.
my logo.
I hate you so much. Because I really like it as well. Oh, God damn it. I want to print some flyers and stuff.
But anyway, to circle back on topic. It was Phantom Zone Podcast at HTTPZ Podcast. Shout out to you.
Well, thank you very much, you guys. I'll check it out.
And the film is called Battle Beyond the Stars. It was released in 1980, and it features an actor called John Saxon. So,
All right,
yeah,
I will check that out
good.
and report back.
Magnificent Seven in space. It's a thing.
Sweet. Let's check that out. So, yeah, I mean, I've had my little mini rant about remakes. I don't know if there's anything else we need to say about this film, really.
Well, there is. Okay, so...
Oh, go on. Harry's got something.
Predict an actor.
Who's going to be the best?
Who's going to be the best?
Ooh, that's a tough one because there's a lot of good people in there.
Well, saying that, there's 4 people who we know who they are.
That's a lot of good people. Given that the last few films we've watched had very few people we could even name.
Fair.
Um,
I'm hoping at least one of them, I'm guessing probably Vincent D'Onofrio, is going to just chew the scenery. I really want one of them to just go for it.
that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever does that will probably be the best.
Because from the trailer, it kind of looks like Denzel's doing Denzel and Chris Pratt's doing Chris Pratt, which is fine. And Ethan Hawke's not the kind of actor that you expect. He's a great actor, but he's not somebody who's like really gonzo. He's an actor who's quite, reliable.
Which only leaves Vinny D to
Who
just...
he has in the past done some really fine scenery chewing. So I'm really hoping, and he is playing the Grizzly Adams type. So
Yeah.
I've got my eye on him to really be the star of this
I
movie.
think you might be right. I think he's playing the hunter character, isn't he? So he's probably going to be a bit of a loner kind of guy who might be like a little bit sort of not ill at ease around people, but just be like speak his mind and not care what people think.
Is he supposed to be the Charles Bronson? Do you think?
Charles
Charles Bronson in this 1961 was the one who had the little thing with the kids.
Yeah.
It was
yeah,
so
he
annoying.
became a friend of the kids and stuff. And yeah, and the kids at no point ever were told, get out of this gunfight because you'll die from it. They just kept running around gunfights.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, actually. It's tough to place. But, I mean, I don't think any of the character archetypes really scan over because they are so big and brash this time. Let's watch the film and we might be able to pick them out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think you might be right. I think Vincent D'Onofrio is going to smash this one.
And have we noticed as well that this is Vincent D'Onofrio and Chris Pratt reunited? Because, of course, they were both in Jurassic World. He played the guy who wanted to weaponize velociraptors in
Which
Jurassic
is
World.
such a good idea.
Yeah.
But actually, in the end, they made him the bad guy all the way through. And yet, in the end, weaponizing raptors worked and saved everybody. And so Vincent D'Onofrio in Jurassic World was right.
Yeah.
But
Even though he was wrong, turned out he was right.
But in my eyes, it is the worst, highest-grossing film of all time.
Ooh,
It's
there's
in
a
the top.
lot.
Is it still in the top 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
What else is in that top 5?
Titanic,
Well,
Avatar, Titanic, Force Awakens, in that order of the top 3.
Yes, and then I forget if it's.
Oh, it's Fast and Furious 7, isn't it? Then Jurassic
Oh my
World.
god, I've forgotten.
I think that's it. Fast and Furious 7 is up there still.
Fast and Furious, Jurassic World, and Avengers are all up there, and then Avengers Age of Ultron. But I know those two aren't together, so there's nothing in between them. Ah, I'm out of touch. God damn it.
Of the ones of those I've seen, I would agree that Jurassic Park is the worst.
I've not seen Fast and Furious 7, but chances are it's better at what it does than Jurassic World was.
Hey, Ross, try me my phone.
That's me hitting the mic stand.
The mic stand spring. That's why it sounded so like a guitar.
But yeah, I think
Yeah, it
Vincent D'Onofrio and Chris Pratt should do all the movies together. I think he should replace Jennifer Lawrence in Passengers. That's a movie I'd want to watch.
Yeah. Oh, hey,
What?
they're both in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well.
Wait, sorry, who replaced?
I think Vincent D'Onofrio should replace Jennifer Lawrence in Passengers. And that should be like Vincent D'Onofrio and Chris Pratt in Love in Space.
I'd watch that.
I would watch the
I'd
shit
watch that.
out of that movie.
I would definitely
Yeah.
watch that.
Now, Harry told me I shouldn't watch the trailers for Passengers, so I haven't. And I'm excited to see it anyway.
Yes, that's because I think Passengers, like I've said before in previous podcasts, Passengers is this year's space movie.
Yes.
Like, there has
and
been-
don't
there-
tell
there-
us the
there has
entire
been-
plot in advance.
There has been a space movie in the second half of every year. Second half of every year for the past 3 years.
Well, it's been Christmas time,
which
hasn't it?
has
It's been right at the end.
Not necessarily Christmas time. So there's been Gravity, there's been Interstellar, there's been Martian. The Martian was in
My favourite.
October of last year, so actually fairly early, about now-ish.
Oh, that's true.
And this year it's been Passengers, and I predicted this maybe 10 months ago when I initially saw it on IMDb. I saw a vague plot and saw the cast.
Right.
Jennifer Lawrence and Chris
This
Pratt
year's space movie
in
is going to
space.
be at the end
Just
of
like,
the year.
boom, that's it.
Yeah.
I know there's Star Wars out, but Star Wars is something else.
Not a space movie, really.
Star
is
Wars
it?
is its own genre.
It's science fantasy as Star Wars, whereas all those movies you just mentioned are all science fiction.
Yes. And so this one I believe to be this year's space movie.
Yeah.
And
I like the idea that there can be only one. Like every
Yeah.
studio goes, oh, it's my turn. It's my turn.
Well, they try not to clash with each other. I think it wasn't like...
well, you say that, but it's coming out, I think, 3 or 4 days after Star Wars. So
I think science fantasy and science fiction don't actually clash with each other as much as you might think.
that's in your mind. But
I
in
want
the
to go
general
see
public's
both.
mind.
Well, there's
Yeah,
only going to be
true.
one winner in that situation at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it one of the Harry Potters moved back half a year so they didn't clash with Return of the King, I think, which might have been a smart move because Return of the King did gangbusters.
That may have been the first or second Harry Potter, because Return of the King was 2003,
Yeah, it might have even been the first Harry Potter. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a Harry
Smooth
Potter
move.
that was moved a longish way.
I mean,
and
all this
those two
happens-
do cross over a lot, I think, and they would compete with each
Batman
other.
v Superman was going to come out on the same day as Captain America: Civil War, the same day, not even the same week.
Yeah,
the
that
same
was a
day.
mistake.
And so Batman v Superman just moved 3 months earlier.
That
And then
was
everything
also a
was
mistake.
fine.
3 months more editing might have saved that movie, so long as I did it because it was awful.
I think editing ruined the movie, but okay.
That's a good point, actually. Maybe 3 months less editing would have fixed that movie.
Okay, so to go back a tad, box office rankings currently: Avatar, Titanic, Star Wars, Jurassic World is number 4, Avengers 5, Furious 7 is 6, and Avengers Age of Ultron is 7. And then Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Which is not that surprising,
That kind of makes sense.
really.
But actually, Vincent D'Onofrio, Chris Pratt in space. That sounds good. But you know what else? They're both in the MCU. Can we have that happen? Can they meet each other?
Who's Vincent D'Onofrio in the
He's
MCU?
Kingpin.
Oh,
You don't
I
watch
don't
He's
know.
Winston.
DVD, do you?
No,
He's
I'm
Wilson.
sorry.
Is it Wilson? Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
Something Fisk. Wilson
Well,
Fisk.
son.
Wilson! So, yeah, I would quite like to have somehow Fisk meet Star-Lord, even though that makes almost no sense.
well, it's never stopped them before.
It'd be weird. Also, Robert Downey Jr. and Vinny D have been in a film. It's called The Judge. I would
Yes, I
highly
think
recommend
I've
it to
seen
any of our
trailers for
listeners.
that.
It's a really good film.
It's not our usual fare, is it?
No, it's not. But we seem to aim for our unusual fare.
That's true. We once in a while go unusual. Today we're watching a cowboy movie, just like last week.
The Judge, the Judge has always been one of my picks for the film marathon that we've never yet done.
Oh, the alternative
which
Avengers.
we haven't explained, not even to John. So we have this film marathon which we have planned, which is called the Alternate Avengers, where we pick the main character from every film in the MCU. So currently there's 13 movies. We pick the main character from those films, or if it's a sequel, we pick the secondary character. So, for example, Iron Man 2, we pick... Oh my god, the name...
Don Cheadle.
That's it. Sorry, the name just flew at my head.
War Machine.
Yeah, we'd then pick a Don Cheadle film. So the idea is, for Iron Man 1, it's Robert Downey Jr., so we pick a Robert Downey Jr. film, which is not Iron Man.
Chaplin.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
second film, which is then Hulk, played by Ed Norton.
We'd have to watch an Ed Norton movie.
We have to watch
American History X.
Thank you.
I've seen that. That's good.
Sounds like John's proud of this.
Sorry,
Iron
I'm
Man
taking
2,
over.
so we got Don Cheadle.
Hotel Rwanda. That's him, innit?
Yeah, that's
Sure.
him.
Yeah.
Or the what's that? The one they're remaking, the series they're remaking, Ocean's 11.
Oh, God, don't remake Ocean's 11.
Oh, don't start.
So then we have Thor, Chris Hemsworth.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, sure.
I still don't want to watch Ghostbusters. But
I also don't feel he's starring in that.
no, he's supposed to.
Something like Rush.
True.
Yeah.
Starring in Rush.
I've not seen Rush.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, Rush would
I'd
be a good
recommend
one.
that.
Although,
Okay.
could we choose a second... Oh, Thor the Dark World I've already picked. Black Swan. Natalie Portman.
Ah, that's a good film.
Because I want to see Black Swan again.
amazing.
good
Because it's
shout.
great.
Good shout.
All right, what comes after Thor?
Captain America.
Captain
Steve
America.
Rogers. It's not Steve Rogers. Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that's what was in my
What,
head.
what has he done?
Oh,
That's-
Sunshine.
Oh,
okay.
Sunshine, yeah. That'd be good.
I've seen that a long time ago, and I've heard so many good things since.
Oh,
They've been like, wait,
Snowpiercer as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's apparently very good. Still haven't got around to that.
Avengers.
Jeremy
Jeremy Renner?
who's the
He did
biggest
Zero Dark
person?
30. The Catherine Bigelow film.
Could
Oh,
get
yeah.
Zero Dark 30 done?
Yeah. Oh, American Hustle.
No.
But that was terrible, so don't watch it.
Yeah, it's really slow and boring. film.
Yeah, who else? Who's the next? Mark Ruffalo. He's possibly.
Oh,
a
he's
better
done
pick.
so many cool
He's
films.
al-
Oh, Spotlight. Forget Zero Dark 30. Let's watch Spotlight on that one.
I've seen Spotlight more recently.
I haven't seen it at all. I hear it's good.
Then the film that comes after that, Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3. Let's watch Moon. No, it's not Iron Man 3. Never mind. That's not Iron Man 3. I wanted to say.
Oh, I know.
Wait, if you've already chosen a Robert
Sam
Downey Jr.
Rockwell.
film and you've already chosen a Don Cheadle film, surely that means you have to watch a Gwyneth Paltrow film.
It does mean so.
Sliding
yes.
Doors.
Sliding Doors is fun.
Sliding Doors.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's what we want from this marathon is variation.
Okay.
So
Thor: The Dark World, you said.
Black Swan,
Black
Natalie
Swan.
Portman.
Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Bucky would be the only other person in there, but I don't know if he's been in anything
Scarlett
else.
Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. Lucy.
Lost
no.
in Translation or Lucy. Yeah.
Oh, Lost in Translation's awful.
Lost in
don't watch
Or
that.
did you say it was rubbish?
No. I was
Oh, sorry.
What was that one? She was in Her. That was very good.
Oh God, yeah.
But also, there was a really niche art housey one recently, which had a lot of her on a black background, which was apparently very good. Can't for the life of me remember what it's called.
No, she did do a film when she was very young called Ghost World with Flora Birch, which is really good, and I think you'd enjoy.
Yeah.
And
there you go.
It's about comic books, I think.
Scarlett Johansson's got a few options.
Shove it on the list. Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt.
Magnificent Seven.
You don't know if you like that yet.
I don't know if I like sliding doors either.
Well, you should watch ones you haven't seen before, surely.
That's true. We try and make sure we see a lot of new ones, but I don't know what else he's been
Chris
in.
Pratt only really does blockbusters. I'm trying to think of films he did before he was a superstar.
He was in Her.
Was
he was in...
Wanted. He's in Wanted.
That's what I was trying to think of.
Which is great. He gets his face smashed in by Xavier.
I feel like the characters need to be main characters, though. Like, lead characters.
You could just
he's not
do
a
a
lead
marathon
in
of
that,
Parks and Recreation.
Could do.
Just, watch 4 episodes of that.
He's been in other things, sure.
Yeah, Wanted is the best movie I think I've seen him in.
We could just tie this in with Passengers coming out in the cinema. Who knows?
What came after Guardians?
Avengers Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, which means... Well, we've done all the Avengers now. Oh, no, we're left with Jeremy Renner still. Oh, James Spader. He was in Secretary with Maggie Gyllenhaal, wasn't he? Wasn't that him?
Or,
he did Ultron
or Sex, Lies and Videotape, which is very good.
Or Kick-Ass with
Quicksilver. Oh, that'd be good. I like Kick-Ass. Okay, after Ultron.
Ant-Man. Paul Rudd.
Object of My Affection. Classic Jennifer Aniston rom-com.
Yeah, let's watch that.
Yeah. Get one of them in there.
Oh, no. I like Clueless. You have to watch Clueless if you're going to do a Paul Rudd.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Not Romeo and Juliet.
Wandering around in their lie addresses.
He wasn't in Romeo and Juliet, was he?
Yes, he was.
Oh, was he one of the Capulets or the Montagues, one of the supports?
He was, I forget, he was Juliet's boyfriend or something. I don't know. He was an astronaut. He was dressed as an astronaut.
I was going to say there were no astronauts in Romeo and Juliet.
He was dressed as an...
There was like a ball where they all had come in costume, and he was...
But he's definitely not the lead in that film. Whereas he's not the lead in Clueless.
He's not Leonardo DiCaprio.
No.
No.
But Clueless is a very
Romeo
good
and Juliet gives you a big clue as to who's the leads in it.
Yeah.
The 2 main leads. Yeah.
And instead of following that with Captain America Civil War, who would you pick?
Paul Bettany, Knight's Tale, because it's one of the best movies of all time and any excuse to watch it.
I think Chadwick Boseman's got a bigger part in Civil War.
Which one's Chadwick Boseman? Oh, he's
Panther.
Black Panther, isn't he? Don't know what he's been in.
I know nothing else he's been in.
I don't know, but I'd heard his name before he was announced, so he's got to have been in something.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to look up a Chadwick Boseman movie. Who's Baron Zemo? He must have been in stuff.
Daniel Bruhl. He's in loads of things. Really.
Still, I want to see a Paul Bettany movie.
Inglourious Bastards. Daniel Bruhl.
Who was he in that?
He
was the sniper dude. He was the Nazi sniper dude.
Yes, he was.
I think isn't Daniel Bruhl the kid from Goodbye Lenin as well? That's a good art housey kind of film.
He was also in Rush with Chris Hemsworth.
Yes, which my brother recommended. To me
Interesting.
recently.
Maybe that's why they kept Thor out of Civil War.
Probably not.
Probably not. We can't have them back together again. Otherwise,
you're quite likely wrong.
Formula One cars will suddenly appear for no reason. All right, and that's the last one.
That's the last one.
Going forwards though, Doctor Strange is next, so we need a Benedict Cumberbatch movie.
I think we should stop there. We're running out of time. We need to go see this film.
Really good Bumble Smash Cabbage Patch movie.
Send in your recommendations to our social media at Beer Pizza Movie for films we should watch, starring stars of MCU films.
And Benedict Cumberbatch as well. Hobbit! All 3 Hobbit movies to finish.
Oh, no.
Wait, no. Smaug's not even in the last
Never.
one. Anyway, yeah, send those things. See how John is really professional and puts that in? It doesn't sound really out of place like it does when Harry and I just go, Twitter!
Well, that's what you don't pay me for.
And on that note...
We pay you in laughs, maybe?
That's all I need.
We invite you to these things, give you a microphone.
Cool, let's wrap it up. Right, so what do we say on Best Actors? Predicted that Best Actors?
I'm definitely going to stick with Vincent D'Onofrio.
I think I agree.
Vinny D. Nah, I think he's going to be underused.
Oh, I have a separate call. One extra.
Separate call?
I have a separate call to that one. I think there's going to be one extra who gets shot and does a really, really good job of it.
Oh, I hope so.
What do we think on the Wilhelm scream? Will there be a Wilhelm scream in this film?
Has it become one of those cliches that doesn't really happen anymore now?
No, it does still happen.
It does still happen.
I don't think I've spotted one in a while.
It's been around.
But I don't have a good ear for the Wilhelm scream, I don't think.
I think it was in Batman v Superman.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm hoping for a Wilhelm scream. It always enhances any film it appears in.
Yes.
That's true.
So I'm going Denzel Washington as my lead actor. I know that he is kind of the main character. I think he's the guy that brings them all together. So,
That makes sense. He's the Yul Brynner.
yeah, he is. Right. So that wraps up our first half. Let's go watch a movie.
Yay!
Woo. Bye. And we're recording. So we're back.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Did anybody else fall asleep?
You fell asleep.
Did you not notice?
I didn't notice.
Harry was gone within 10 minutes.
You are rubbish at
This
this.
is-
I
second
got
time
to the
yesterday.
end of the trailers and just thought, should I have a nap? No, maybe I could.
That's
at least.
ridiculous. You
Chairs
paid
are really
£10 to
comfy.
see a film and slept through it.
I woke up for what I feel was the action sequence at the end, but I tell you what, that went on.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Maybe it didn't go on within the context of the film, but just I woke up and like, oh, great action sequence. Like,
No, it was a long...
closing action sequence. Like an hour later, like, oh my god,
I like
this is
that.
Still
I was
going
going to talk about how I really liked that.
Well, first of all, let's do non-spoilers,
Non-spoilers.
and then we'll do spoilers later.
Okay.
So
So Harry can't really say anything about this movie.
you have no non-spoiler opinions because everything you know about this film happened in the last 20 minutes.
yeah,
It's true.
yeah,
And your
yeah.
opinion about whether it was good or bad is irrelevant because you haven't seen it.
I will watch this again.
You
Hearty
enjoyed it enough to want to.
recommendation,
You
yeah.
enjoyed the bits you saw enough to want to see it again.
Do you know what?
Well-
Do you know what I enjoyed most about it? I managed to get Ross to go and see it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that was a victory.
That's
itself.
fair, and you were right. It was good. I enjoyed it.
And to be fair, he slept through 2/3 of Batman and Robin and didn't want to see that again. So this is already a step. forward.
Yeah, but better than Batman and Robin is not a high bar to jump over.
Speak for yourself.
Just want to point out, Ross said the words "you were right" on a recorded
Okay.
medium, which may now be my text tone.
You were right about Magnificent Seven. Don't quote mind me. That it was a worthwhile movie for checking out. But yeah, I liked it. I felt like they told a slightly different form of the story. They added something. They had a new thing to say, which is when a remake or a sequel is worth making. If you got something to say, something new to make.
Was it the same music?
Only at
I
the
don't
end.
know.
No, it wasn't. The classic Magnificent Seven theme came in over the end credits. Other than
The
that, it was
credits,
good,
yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, I thought that sounded familiar. That's
Yeah.
what I meant. 'Cause obviously
it
it's
was
like the
familiar throughout, I felt, because they captured what westerns should sound like.
Mm.
A kind of minimal, introducing characters in certain ways, that kind of, sort of whistly kind of, I don't think it is an actual whistle, but like...
Yeah, I appreciated the lack of chart music because I really thought there might be like a bunch of explosions accompanied by an Eminem hit or a Limp Bizkit hit or something. So.
Yeah, I'm very glad they didn't go Suicide Squad with it.
Yeah.
As much as that works in films like Suicide Squad, it doesn't work in westerns.
No, so I was pleased with that.
Yeah.
But no, I was pleasantly surprised. This was better than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I expected to probably enjoy it, but not necessarily think it was worth having made. But actually, I really enjoyed it, and I did think it was worth having been made. So, comes with a pretty strong recommendation from me. Things I noticed that were changes, probably from the original, probably move into spoiler territory. So I don't really want to say anything about changes and diversions from the original. But
I'll remember to mention that later.
yeah.
One thing I would say is that I guess it's just a sign of the times, but the original, one thing I think it did do was create a very good sense of space because it was quite intimately shot and you got a lot of shots of the Old West.
Yeah,
which I
and
quite
the
liked.
wide open spaces. and stuff.
This one, I'm not sure how much of it was on location and how much it was CGI'd, and it did get better as it went along, but the first shot of the village, it really looked like they were in Hobbiton, and that really distracted me. Because it
I
was
did see
so
that, yeah.
pristine and green, and like
Yeah.
it really looked like the opening sequence of the Lord of the Rings.
It
So
did
it was
feel a
that
bit.
generic CGI cityscape, mountainscape look, which I was like, oh.
However, I didn't catch much. I didn't catch any CGI really, apart from that one, which means because
a bit closer into the mic.
there must have been. Sorry, I'm gotta use the microphone correctly. All right, I'm moving the microphone for hilarious effect.
Hilarious, yeah.
There must have
Sure.
been CGI in there, but it wasn't obvious. It wasn't visible. It was good CGI in my opinion because it was seamless.
Yeah,
Whatever
apart
it
from the
was.
I think the landscapes were the only kind of obvious for the most part. I'm sure there was some real landscapes mixed in, but other than that, there were no like obvious CGI horses or
Yeah, CGI horses would be a bit obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Maybe they
Maybe
were.
they were.
there and they were really good. Yeah.
Maybe none of the actors actually turned up. Maybe they just recorded their lines by Skype and CGI'd everything else. In which case,
Who's
it
hot
is
right now? Chris Pratt. Let's make Chris Pratt.
yeah. In which case, it is literally the best movie ever if they did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was good. I liked the wide open spaces. I liked the slow pace we had at the beginning of building up the team and whatnot.
I found it very relaxing.
Yeah, well, Harry
Old
slept
Harry
through
to
it.
sleep,
So. But yeah, I like this. I liked the fact that it was still a proper Western.
Yeah.
It didn't go mad early on with showing us loads of things and didn't give us a gunfight every 5 seconds in the opening bit. And the fact that, but then it did have that modern angle where the entire third act was a gunfight. So it took the old Western style of finishing on a gunfight and just modernized it with a more bombastic gunfight than we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But then ending with a beautiful one-on-one moment like what Westerns do. So I thought that was good. I thought it modernized it in a really interesting way. Possibly it's a shame that there's now no such movie as a classic old Western, but that's fine. There's loads I haven't seen yet.
Well, I mean, there's. I keep forgetting what it's called. There is that other one that's coming out. that we've
Hell or
seen
High
trailers
Water.
for. Could be. I've forgotten.
It's starring Captain Kirk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
It's Hell or High Water, and it's a Western like No Country for Old Men is a Western. It's still set in almost the modern day, I think.
Yeah.
It's not set in 1870 something.
Of which there have been plenty recently.
There have been a few. Yeah. You probably won't get a Western like the old style of Westerns ever again. But in the same way, you won't get a sci-fi like Tron or The Last Starfighter again because they were a product of their times as much as the Westerns were.
Mm-hmm.
The 80s were just full of that. Actually, 80s were full of sci-fi high concept like Tron and The Last Starfighter, but they also had the great ridiculous action movies with exploding heads like RoboCop and Terminator and stuff. Terminator edged into the 90s, I think. Terminator 1 was late 80s, Terminator 2 was front end of the 90s.
Like 92, I think.
But yeah, in the same way that Westerns typified the 50s and 60s,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what kind of movies were happening in the 70s.
Do you think that's why there aren't as many Westerns now? Because they're not a genre that can evolve in the same way science fiction can evolve, in the sense that they're kind of trapped in a particular space and time and look and feel. And so they either read like pastiche or, there's not many ways to modernize a Western. You just have to either do it classic or do something that's like Wild Wild West, which is, take on all
you
the
have to
genres
make it silly or you have to make it classic. And no one's really found the way of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, I think, has modernized it effectively.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that as much as I thought this was a good film, I feel like it could have done with either being more gritty or more funny. It kind of felt a little bit middle of the road for me.
Yeah, it seems like they slightly compromised. I don't think I would have liked it to have been more funny. I liked the funny moments, but I felt like they had just the right amount. Any more than that, and it would have been A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah, that's fair. But I kind of feel like, if that's not going to be the case, then I wish they'd made it a little bit more like, I don't know, a little more violent, a little bit more. I wish the stakes had felt a little bit higher.
Yeah, the modern version of this movie still being a 12A seemed a bit odd. Felt like that it should have been a bit bloodier. Yeah,
well, you could see that. Yeah, with all the people getting shot, but very little blood, and
there was not enough blood.
No,
the original didn't have much blood in it and was a but that was because it was the 60s and that's what happened in movies.
Yeah,
nowadays you can do a bit more blood and a bit more gore, and realistically, you'd see a lot of blood and gore and shattered bone parts. Kind of like in Hateful Eight, which I felt like it was a more realistic depiction of what would happen if round bullets go through people.
That is one thing that I never really felt watching this film. I didn't really feel like anybody was in pain at any point.
It certainly
he's
didn't
dead.
do any lingering on people full of bullets, did it?
Yeah.
Except Chris Pratt, but then he wasn't bleeding, so it was just kind of like, he's been shot 6 times. He's probably going to die, but he looks fine.
Yeah, well, Chris Pratt was kind of in the magic area there of doing a heroic thing.
I
But-
assume we're in spoiler zone now. We've kind of mentioned a few times.
Let's go.
I feel like that's how we get into spoilers.
By mentioning one by
Yeah.
accident.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite actor. Then we'll get into spoilers.
I enjoyed Peter Sarsgaard, who plays
Yeah.
the bad guy. I wish there'd been more of him because he was giving me real Gary Oldman,
He
scenery
was-
chewing,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
twitchy and scary, and
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think there was a lot of his motivation. I feel like we could have done with a bit more backstory for him.
Yeah. Wants to be rich isn't quite enough. Could have done
Yeah.
with having a bit more of that.
His first speech at the beginning made no sense. I'm sorry, it just made zero
I
sense.
can't
at
even
all.
remember what he said.
He went into the church and went off about dirt for a while, and it was just.
Oh yeah, the dirt
I could
thing.
not
That
follow
really
it at all.
confused me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm gonna sell you some dirt, or I'm gonna buy your dirt. I'm pretty sure it was I'm gonna buy your land for less
price
than
of
it's
dirt,
worth,
yeah.
and you don't have a choice.
I
I think I understood it,
I'm gonna
but
start charging you for the land that you already own.
But I feel like it needed to either be clearer or like full on crazy. It kind of was somewhere
yeah,
between.
or skip it entirely.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
he's not treating us fairly. Why? Doesn't matter for now.
Yeah.
That's the driving point of the plot, but we don't need that background. It felt like I felt like that was a misstep because they didn't. It's like the science in Ant-Man. I keep going on about this, but if you want to explain it well. If you don't want to explain it, don't explain it. Don't half-arse it and have a go but mess it up. You're better off cutting it if you're not going to do it properly.
'Cause I thought that was an interesting thing the original did. I mean, by original, I mean the 1961. I apologize to Seven Samurai. In that they present the villain character as initially he's just robbing the town, but then it's revealed that he has to rob the town because his men are starving. So it
Yeah.
sets up quite an interesting moral
That's true.
grey area where
And
he's
that
actually
wasn't-
just acting out of desperation.
Yeah, and that
Which-
wasn't there in
yeah,
this movie.
that
He
would've
was
been
just a rich despot who would have been fine without it. And
Yeah.
yeah, it seemed like he had less depth than Eli Waller's character did. That is true. But yeah, I think he really did a good job with what he had, and the later scenes were better than the earlier ones for him. But I think my overall pick for best actor is actually what's her face? Mrs. Cullen, I think. I can't remember.
Haley Bennett?
That's the
Not
one.
Haley Williams, I was wrong before. It was Haley. So that was the Jennifer Lawrence lookalike, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think she looked that much like Jennifer Lawrence, but
Not in this,
I
but I
think
can
she
imagine
did.
how she might in a different
Yeah.
makeup without
yeah,
flush cheeks.
I don't think
and
Jennifer
kind
Lawrence
of-
has ever done a western.
I think
so,
with more blonde hair.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
that's Jennifer Lawrence's classic look.
Yeah, but I
Despite
think
Hunger
she did a
Games.
great job. For me, even though the seven were all great, I thought she was great.
Yeah.
yeah, she was
I
good.
think she smashed it.
Again, I would have liked to have seen more. She
yeah.
didn't get that much dialogue.
No,
but,
that's true. But
yeah,
I
it was nice to
enjoyed
see
her
her.
arc. I quite liked her sort of like going out and getting the guys and then becoming a warrior by the end. That was good. I felt like we had an arc from her, whereas I don't think any one of the seven actually had any arc.
Yeah, that's true.
Felt like
wasn't
there
a
was
lot.
potential for an arc, but they didn't get one.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I guess the closest would be Ethan Hawke's character, who
Yes.
was repeating the Robert Vaughn kind of. No, it wasn't Robert. He was
It
a mix
was.
between Robert Vaughn and the guy who
The knife guy.
No, not the knife guy. The guy the treasure seeker, who was the one who abandoned.
Oh, that's
the
right.
crew.
Yes,
he's
sorry.
kind of a mix of the two, isn't he?
Yes, he
and
was.
then the one who leaves and then comes back at the end
It
only to get
was.
shot. Right.
It was Billy, the knife guy,
Yeah.
who was aping the knife guy from the previous one.
Yeah, but there was also Robert Vaughn was the guy who had the post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
And then there was the other guy who's the actor, I forget his name, who was treasure seeking, who decided not to stay in the town and then comes back and gets shot.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, at least, Ethan Hawke's character comes back and does something useful. He doesn't just ride and go, "I'm here to save you guys." Oh,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
dead.
He comes back in and does the Robert Vaughn thing.
Yes.
So it kind of works. Yeah. Well, I think we best give our spoiler warning now, so we can start talking about more about what the characters did. But
Sure, the spoiler warning happened in 5 minutes.
yeah, I know. But let's. Yeah.
This is
Spoiler
uber spoiler
warning.
warning.
We're going to start talking spoilers after this point. So we said at the beginning that we didn't think that they'd kill anyone.
Yeah, well, we were wrong.
We were wrong. They killed 4. They killed the correct number.
Until the sequel where they introduced time travel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder. I don't think it's going to make enough money. It's doing well, but it's not doing
I hope
like,
they don't make a
exceptionally
sequel.
well.
Please
Yeah,
don't make a sequel.
But it feels like they've not made it with a sequel in mind because there's no way they'd kill Chris Pratt. I guess they still have Denzel, but
Yeah.
they've killed all
Denzel's
of the.
not popular enough.
No, well he
He's,
is, but
he's not the
He's peaked.
new
true.
hotness, is he? Denzel Washington
yeah.
is not
Chris
the...
Pratt's like now. Denzel Washington is some like a you
Yeah.
know, he's like Will Smith.
And Vincent D'Onofrio, also a bit more of an up-and-comer.
He's
Denzel
like
Washington.
60.
Yeah, but he's
can
not...
be an up-and-comer.
He's an up-and-comer right now.
He's been going for a long time. But
yeah,
I guess
but
he's been in some big
he's
films.
gaining some traction now in a way that he hadn't before.
I don't think he's like a box office actor though.
That might
He's
be
like
because
a
of
solid
that.
character actor who's had some big roles lately.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I enjoyed Vincent D'Onofrio a lot. Again, I'm going to say this a lot because I don't think any of the characters got enough screen time. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more development there. I was fascinated by the voice work he was doing.
I thought that was great.
He sounded for the first half of the film as if his balls were somewhere up around his liver. It was so high pitched.
That was odd, yeah.
And it kind of felt like his balls just very slowly dropped as the film went along. His voice kind of got a bit more normal. But it was an interesting choice.
Yeah, that was cool. I quite liked it. It's like, how is that voice coming out of that head?
Yeah, because he's so big and his voice was so squeaky.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked Vincent D'Onofrio. His moment of death was so Boromir at the end of Fellowship. It was great. Really good job of that. I
kind of felt like surely someone around him has a gun. Rescue the guy, like
Yeah,
everyone's
like he's just standing there like a pincushion, increasingly full of arrows, and you think somebody shoot the other guy or shoot him, put him out of his misery, do something. Like,
that was weird, but it was also a really good scene.
Yeah, cinematically, I could see why they did it. Logically, not so much. But
I like that. We had Ethan Hawke ride back in and do some heroism after his post-traumatic stress issue, so he had that little arc. It seemed like some of the characters were possibly a little bit racist.
The Native American character was, I'm not sure you'd say, it was a strange way they handled the Native American character. I didn't really understand why he was there. He kind of appears out of nowhere.
That's
and
true.
Then hands,
it was almost as if he was there for diversity's sake, but he turned out to be a very interesting character.
Did he?
I thought so. I liked him.
I mean, I liked that he was there, but I didn't think like he did.
Was he interesting, or was it just different?
Yeah,
because he was Native American.
I enjoyed watching him on screen. But then I am a big archery fanboy. I love me some archery.
Yeah, he got to do that. But I mean, there was no explanation of why he just kind of rode up to them. There was no kind of backstory for him really. There was like a throwaway line, like "My path is something different." And he hands Denzel Washington a heart, which Denzel chows down on. You might have missed this bit. And then suddenly he's in the gang. I was like, okay.
I think a lot of what happens in there has got to be, there's more to this, but we don't have time. Like you said, if they had developed some of the characters more, great.
Yeah, and the Hispanic guy, I had no idea why they were there or what their motivations were.
I was kind of happy with that, to just go, oh, there's more here, but we don't have time for it. Mm-hmm. But it gave them a bit more depth than the Magnificent Seven have had before, I think.
Yeah.
Merging some familiar character types. Like, Chris Pratt was definitely the young guy.
He was definitely Steve McQueen. Mixed with Chico,
Yeah, exactly. It was the young guy mixed with Steve McQueen, because he was like the second in command to Denzel's Yul Brynner.
Yeah. Chico as in... it's Chico time?
Every time I say that name, I think of Chico time, but you know what I mean? Yeah. The hot one.
The one who ends up womanizing.
The one who owns the woman at the end, who flings over her.
But he survived. The young one survived in both Seven Samurai and the original Mag 7. And in this one, he gets blowed up with dynamite.
Well, he blows himself up with dynamite.
Yeah, which was a good scene. I quite like the sort of failed charge. Succeeded suicide charge kind of thing. I do have a question about that Gatling gun. Is it magic? Because it seemed to be able to shoot infinity bullets for a while until it couldn't, and then took about 8 minutes to reload. Even though we saw them reload it in less than 10 seconds. Like, he's reloading. And then about 4 minutes later, we see them do the reloading, which takes less than 10 seconds. And then about 3 more minutes later, it starts shooting again.
Yeah.
How does this Gatling gun work?
And the second time it shot, it had a lot less bullets.
That's true. Yeah. Ran out faster,
Yeah.
I was puzzled by the logic of, oh my god, they're reloading the Gatling gun. Quick, send the children into the field.
No, the building was on fire. Yeah. They needed to get them out.
Was the building on fire? Because I kind of felt like the children were probably safer underground than like running through the grass while...
it was a bit weird. It was a bit dangerously close to The Last Samurai, in which Tom Cruise gets riddled with bullets, which I like watching, because I can't stand Tom Cruise. Yeah. Not the real one, just his characters. There was also homages to Django, and I reckon Vincent D'Onofrio's death was an homage to Fellowship of the Ring, purposefully or not, but it was definitely an homage. So there are a few little sort of rhyming moments from previous movies, but I kind of like them. My overall question, though, is why did it have to be a Magnificent Seven movie? Couldn't it have just been a new idea?
If it was a new idea, people would have said it copied Magnificent Seven. Because if you look at some of the characters, look at Denzel, look at Chris Pratt, like
In which case,
there's such rehashes of
Yeah, but
existing characters
could have
that
made
you
them.
that it couldn't not be a
Could have
remake.
put some variation, some more variation in there, and made it 8 people, or
Put them in space.
put it in
an
space.
I mean, put
Yeah.
it in space.
You're not stealing from Magnificent Seven to have people who can't fight hire people who can fight to help them fight. That's an idea that already exists.
I did not appreciate the script that was at the end with door.
Pizza.
That's our pizza.
Pizzas here.
We've watched a movie.
Hold that for us.
There's some pizza.
With not Jennifer Lawrence saying something about magnificent.
Oh, that was weird. Yeah.
They were
Oh yeah,
magnificent.
they were magnificent.
Harry, go get the pizza. We'll talk about this while you go. Yeah, it was like the Family Guy thing. I love it when they say the line of the movie in the movie.
They really made us wait for it too. It was right.
This
at the end.
represents a clear and present danger. Ah! What was the other example Family Guy used? Oh yeah, the only way I can solve this problem is to be Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. No.
Yeah, over that. We never saw Chris Pratt's body, presumably because there were bits of it all over the place.
Because it's exploded.
But I was so convinced right to the end that he was going to miraculously survive, just purely because he is Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
So even to the point when they had that last shot over the 4 gravestones,
You thought he'd just get
I
up.
really was expecting a carry hand through the ground moment.
Yeah.
Like he'd just be like, "Ugh, still alive."
That would have been cheap.
That
I'm
would have
glad
been cheap and beneath the film.
We said that it would be better if they killed people, and I thank you. Harry just handed me a pizza. For those of you who can't see what's happening because we're not filming it.
These pizzas are massive.
Yeah, we didn't really think this 14-inch pizza through. Oh well,
this is my breakfast
I'm
too.
going to leave mine for a moment while we finish up recording, and probably eat it with a fork because it looks quite runny and delicious. So, who do we get these pizzas from, Harry? We can review these pizzas.
Pizza Murano. in
Pizza
Leeds.
Murano in Leeds. Looks good. Haven't eaten it yet. So yeah, I think I've said most of what I want to say about this movie. It comes with a recommendation. Even if you're sick of remakes, I would say give this one a go. It was a good film and a worthwhile remake.
Yeah, I'd say it was a solid. I wouldn't say it was like I wouldn't be in a rush to see it again, but it was a solid, decent.
Yeah,
better than I
I've
expected
seen
to
it
be.
now, and yeah, I'm not going to rush out and buy it on DVD, but it was an enjoyable cinema experience. It was a good movie.
John, I feel you're more impartial to this because Ross is an old man, really. Which do you think is better,
about
this
right.
or the 1960s movie?
I would say the 1960 version is better because it tells a more human story and it's a little bit more. I feel like the stakes are a little bit more well realized. But there are certain things that this does better. You get more of a sense of the characters to a degree. There are no annoying Mexican children.
That was
They would be annoying wherever they were from, by the way. They're not annoying
they-
because they're Mexican. They're just incredibly irritating.
They were the worst.
Yeah.
I got that man. Cat.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
obviously there is a
Poor
female
old
in this
Josh
film
Brolin.
who has more of an arc than getting thrown over a man's shoulder and thrown onto a horse. So that's always a
Yep,
plus
they
in my
made the
book.
female they made the one woman in this movie a proper character with some agency.
She got
Well,
to kill
she was
him.
the driving force of the plot, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Well, you say that, but there was that point at the end where like she shot the bad guy and killed him. Like at the last point, he was just about to kill Denzel, and she
Yeah,
shot him.
that was
so
a
big
good-
save.
And I leant over to John and just went, "Go women!" And it was just like
Hashtag feminism.
It was-
hashtag bullets.
it was as though they just sort of put the one woman in that role and gave her that action to just sort of, make her worth something. And then John, you made the point about, and then she burst into tears.
because she has to. She can't just own it. Yeah, but I would have liked it if she had managed to kill plus-size Jack Sparrow, the guy who was the Native American who was trying to.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know if that was native garb, but he really looked like a plus-size Jack Sparrow.
He did a bit, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
The hero Native American guy was ripped,
Yeah.
and the baddie Native American guy was kind of fat.
Yes.
Really old and fat.
Yes.
and,
Weird.
and what was his arc? What was his backstory? How did he get tied up with Peter Sarsgaard's character?
Doesn't matter. Don't
I
care.
know. Put it thinking about.
I'm fine with
Don't
that.
dig too deep into that. Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I don't need that. Again, this is it's a fun romp of a movie. It's not. I don't need a full backstory and everything. I'm not going to go check the Wikipedia and read the history of these characters.
No.
They were really enjoyable on stage. And to answer Harry's question, this one was probably a more enjoyable 2.5 hours sat in the cinema than the previous one was. But it's a remake, so it's never going to have the influence on cinema that the previous one did.
True.
And the previous one had a reasonably big influence. It's the one
Yeah,
Western that
previous
people
one-
remember.
Previous one was a remake, though.
The previous one was also a remake.
But
It set the tone for so many films that followed.
Exactly.
and
It was.
could I say that it was a Western remake of an Eastern film?
Yeah, which is a bit weird. Like, were they remaking it because they thought that Seven Samurai wouldn't go over well in the West?
Well, that happens to this
well,
day.
it's just-
Look at Internal Affairs.
Well, exactly.
and
But
Godzilla.
also,
Yeah.
Seven Samurai has gone over well in the West, but I couldn't tell you when that happened. Like, did it happen the year it was released, or has it only happened since?
But I
the turn of the
guarantee it's not
millennium?
made as much money as the original Magnificent Seven. I mentioned I was saying this to my dad. He was like, "Oh, have you seen the original?" He didn't say, "Oh, have you seen Seven Samurai?" You know?
Well,
My
a lot of
dad
people
did
don't
just the
even
standard
know
layman
it's a
in this
remake of
situation.
Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
No, but I doubt my dad has ever seen Seven Samurai.
But there are parallels right back to Seven Samurai as well. Like Ethan Hawke was the guy from Seven Samurai who was just perfecting his art. He was a phenomenal swordsman, but didn't really want to join up.
Yeah.
And didn't really want to fight either. And that guy was actually the guy who we saw in Seven Samurai having a duel, a non-lethal duel, and then a lethal one, which he of course wins because he is the best. Which was Billy this time round, the knife thrower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they used that, and I really liked that device. And yeah, Billy of course became Billy was merged. That character became partly Ethan Hawke and partly the other guy. So yeah, the characters' parts jumped around a bit, but it all made sense. The Seven Samurai had a funny one as well, actually, but the original Magnificent Seven didn't have the funny one.
Yeah, that's true.
They actually made a point specifically in Seven Samurai. He's going to be here to cheer us up because he's always cracking jokes. And Magnificent Seven didn't have that, but the new Magnificent Seven did. It was Chris Pratt. He was the funny one.
He wasn't that funny though. Like he was.
But out of the seven,
out of
he
the
was
seven,
the funny
yeah,
one.
but
He
wasn't
wasn't
like.
just. He was doing things with a grin on his face.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
definitely leaning.
He was
into
the
his
one
Chris
who was
Prattness.
making the jokes, and he wasn't, laugh out loud hilarious, but he was the funny one. He was the one who was kind of upbeat and chipper about things, and kind of let's just go get this done and get drunk for half a day kind of thing. I like that line.
Yeah.
All right. Do we think we're covered?
I think that's pretty much a
Probably,
wrap up because I'm excited to eat my pizza.
We're gonna be under an hour.
Under an hour. All right, let
let's
me
ramble some more.
let me talk for 25
No,
minutes.
no,
about a
no,
thing
no,
that I think
no,
is
no,
important.
no.
Stop. He's about to die. Let him smoke.
Oh my god, that was great. Yeah, watch this movie to find out what John was just talking about.
Yes. So what we're doing next week, Ross?
Next week, as in tomorrow, we're doing Luke Cage.
Yeah.
I'm really quite excited for Luke Cage. It's some of Harry and I do movie marathons, which you, if you're a long-term listener, will have heard us talking about before. My favourite marathons we've done so far have been, in order, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Daredevil Season 2. They've all been better than our movie marathons, and Luke Cage is the next Netflix Marvel thing, and I'm looking forward to it. I've been avoiding the internet for a week to not get any spoilers.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Luke Cage for the next one.
So tune in next week to hear what we think of that. And I don't know if we're going to do episode by episode, but we will see.
We probably won't because that'll take forever.
Yes, it will. Yeah. So have we got any questions that we want to ask listeners about Magnificent Seven?
Was it worth remaking?
Yeah, just share your thoughts at Beer Pizza Movie. Let us know who you thought the best actor was. Were you surprised by the amount of people who died at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Share your thoughts, folks. Yeah. Thanks very much for listening.
Yeah, and see you next week.
Luke
Thanks for
Cage,
having me
baby.
again, guys.
Pardon?
Thanks for having me again.
Oh, that's all right. It's always a pleasure.
Thank
I
you
was
for
promised
being here.
Catwoman, but it still hasn't happened. But one day.
One day we'll watch Catwoman. I still haven't seen that. Let's give it a go. Oh, we signed off and now we're still talking again.
No,
Maybe we
okay,
should
let's-
stop.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.